Let's talk about the default parameters. So function definition can have a default parameter value for one or more parameters. So function calls can optionally omit an argument. So for example, when we define a function, we can specify like it could have like one or two arguments that maybe, one or two parameters that would be mandatory parameters. Like you must pass some value to those parameters, okay? But we can also consider having an optional parameter. So for example, when we are calling a function, let's say here, day, month, year, this is a function name print underscore date, and it prints the date, today's date. So today's date is, we're passing month, day, and year. So in the first function call at line number 5, you can see print underscore date, you specify the day, 6, fab, month, and year, you specify 2023, okay? But second is the same thing. Third one, we only specified day and month. We did not include the third argument, okay? The third argument would be, so when we do not specify, we did not pass the third value in this example. So the default value that we have already defined in the function definition will be substituted, okay? So in the third call, year value of year would be used, 2023 would be used as the value of year, okay? Here we specify 2022, 2023, so this default value will be overwritten, okay? So this is how we can define a default value of any parameter, okay? So it would print February 6, 2023 when the function is called for the first time. When second call is made in line number 6, it would print February 6, 2022 because we passed the value 2022. In the third call, we did not pass anything, so it used its default value that we have already defined in the parameter list. Okay? Yep.
So you need the squiggly brackets when you're trying to, if you want to print using the parameters?
Yeah, again, when you have to print any value within the string statement, you need to have the curly braces, and you should be using this F format. The print has different variety of argument lists. So if you have to use this value, I think I explained it yesterday to you. So you have to, if you want to print the value within the string, you can enclose the variable name within the curly braces, and you can use F as a string. Okay. Any other question? So arbitrary arguments can also be omitted from a function call as long as the argument has a default value, okay? So we do not need to specify any function, and this is very important concept in a way that you might come across a situation a couple of times where you might just define, you may be defining the default value, and you will skip passing the default value while making a function call, okay? There's something called hierarchical function calls. So function statement may include function calls known as a hierarchical function call or nested function calls. And we have seen an example, very good example. You might have seen already implementing your lab or homework exercises. So here there are two functions we are calling. Okay, so first of all, the innermost call is executed. So here input, so what does input function do? What does input function do? You have been using it very frequently. Yep.
It asks for an input.
Sorry?
It asks for an input from the user.
It asks for an input, not specifically a number. It asks for an input from the user using the keyboard. Okay? It could, and one thing that you should always remember, input function, whenever it is executed, we are supposed to provide an input from the keyboard. And whatever input we give using keyboard, it is always in the form of a string. No matter whether I'm typing like a string like a statement, Hassan Beg, or CSE 1010, or we are learning Introduction to Computing for Engineers, it is all considered as a string. Even if I specify a number, if I specify 1, if I specify 100, if I specify 1000, it is always taken in the form of a string. Okay? It is treated as like a series of characters. Now, if we have to perform a mathematical operation on it, then we have to convert its type. So for example, if I input 100, it would be treated as a string initially. Then you have to pass it to another function, like in this example, integer. So we are passing a number, it is being converted into an integer, and then that value that you have taken an input would be assigned into user underscore input. Okay. Nested functions is calling another function from within a function. Okay. Any question here?